Open your fridge right now. Whatever's in there, leftovers, something you forgot about, a drink you bought 3 days ago, your ancestor would walk into your kitchen and think they died and went somewhere better. Cold food that stays fresh for weeks. Fruit from countries they never heard of. Bread that somebody else baked. They would lose their minds. But here's the thing, if you dropped them in front of their food, the actual food they ate every day for 3 million years, you would lose yours. Because what ancient humans ate isn't a diet. It's a crime scene. And if this is the kind of history nobody taught you in school, hit like. It genuinely helps this video reach people who'd actually enjoy it. Okay, back to the crime scene. Let's start at the beginning. Not 10,000 years ago, not 50,000. We're going back 3 million years to the African savanna, to your earliest ancestors, and the uncomfortable truth about what was on the menu. They were not hunters, they were scavengers. When a lion made a kill on the savanna, it ate first. The good parts, muscle, liver, heart, then the hyenas moved in and took everything else. By the time your ancestors arrived, what was left was a stripped carcass and a pile of thick leg bones that nothing could crack open. Except them, because they had something no other scavenger had. Hands that could pick up a rock and swing it hard enough to split bone. And inside those bones was something gray and slick and dripping with fat. Bone marrow. That was the meal. Not a steak, not a roast. A cracked open bone, scraped with fingers, eaten raw, next to a carcass that had been sitting in the African heat for a while. And they didn't stop there. A cracked skull holds almost a pound of solid fat. For an ancestor living on whatever the lions left behind, a skull was a jackpot. This is why your body still treats fat like treasure. It still remembers what it cost to get it. They also ate insects. Not as a dare, not as a challenge on a reality TV show, as dinner. Termites, grubs, beetles, fat white larvae the size of your thumb. They crunched like shrimp, apparently. For your deep ancestors, insects weren't a last resort. They were a reliable, protein-rich meal that didn't run away. You could find them anywhere. You didn't need a spear, you just needed to know where to look. This went on for over 1 million years, day after day, generation after generation. Cracked bones, brain matter, insects, whatever roots and berries were available, and then fire changed everything. The oldest fire we've ever found is inside Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, about 1 million years old. Once your ancestors had fire, they had cooking. And cooking changed the human body in ways that are still affecting you right now. Raw meat and raw plants force your gut to work for hours to extract nutrients. Cooked food is already partly broken down. Your body pulls more calories from every bite and spends less energy doing it. As our ancestors started cooking, their guts literally shrank. That freed up enormous amounts of energy, and it all went to one place, the brain. Your brain is 2% of your body weight and uses 20% of your calories. You cannot run that machine on raw leaves and termites. You need cooked, fat-rich food. Cooking didn't just change what humans ate, it's why you can think the way you think. By 300,000 years ago, your ancestors looked more or less like you, and the menu had exploded. Mammoth, bison, wild horse and reindeer on the open plains, fish and shellfish from rivers and coastlines, roots, wild grains, berries, nuts, mushrooms, eggs stolen from nests, and honey, especially honey. The Hadza, a hunter-gatherer group in Tanzania who still live roughly the way humans lived before farming existed, get about 15% of their calories from wild honey. They climb dangerous trees, get stung hundreds of times, and keep going back, because nothing else in the wild packs that many calories into one bite. That craving you have for anything sweet, that's not a weakness. That's 3 million years of programming telling you to climb the tree. Your body cannot tell the difference between a dripping honeycomb and a can of soda. It responds to both the same way. Urgency, pleasure, eat as much as possible right now. Modern food figured that out and turned it into a business model. But here's where it stops being interesting and starts being something else. In a cave in England called Gough's Cave, researchers found human bones from about 14,700 years ago. The skulls had been carefully cleaned with stone tools, the faces removed. What remained was the top of the skull, shaped deliberately into a cup. The long bones had been cracked open the same way your earliest ancestors cracked open antelope bones, for the marrow. This wasn't starvation. The same cave contains remains of horses, deer, and other animals. there was plenty to eat. A 2017 study calculated how many calories a human body provides. The answer is around 125,000. A single bison holds 600,000. A mammoth holds 3 million. Humans weren't efficient food. They were a choice. One forearm bone found in the cave was carved with a zigzag pattern after the meat was gone. This wasn't survival. This was ritual. And Guff's cave isn't alone. Similar remains have been found across Europe, Germany, France, Spain, Croatia. For hundreds of thousands of years, in different parts of the world, humans were doing this to each other, not always because they had to. And it gets stranger. Your ancestors didn't just eat fresh meat, they ate rotten meat. When a hunter killed an animal, they couldn't eat the whole thing at once. So they buried it, stashed it in caves, hid it in cold streams, for days, weeks, sometimes months. By the time they came back, the meat was crawling with maggots and smelled like something that would make you gag from 20 feet away. They ate it anyway. Some researchers believe they preferred it. Rotting meat is already partly broken down, easier to chew, easier to digest. The bacteria produce B vitamins. And here's the part that should make you pause. Your body still remembers this. Every fermented food you love is controlled rot. Cheese, yogurt, sourdough, beer, wine, soy sauce, pickles. All of it is decomposition, slowed down, and made safe. Your taste for cheese didn't develop in a French dairy. It developed on a savanna 100,000 years ago, eating something that would empty a modern restaurant in 30 seconds. Here's what the timeline actually looks like. 3 million years ago, bone marrow, brain matter, insects, whatever the lions left behind. 1 million years ago, fire arrives, cooking begins, the brain starts growing. 300,000 years ago, the menu opens up. Mammoth, fish, honey, roots, berries, eggs. 14,700 years ago, Guff's cave. We don't need to revisit that. 10,000 years ago, farming begins, and for the first time in human history, food becomes something you grow instead of something you find. And here's the thing about that transition that nobody talks about. The first farmers were not healthier than the hunter-gatherers they replaced. Fossil records show that early agricultural populations were shorter, had more tooth decay, more signs of infection, more nutritional deficiencies. They were less healthy, just more numerous. We traded variety for reliability, and our bodies have been arguing with that trade ever since. Every craving you have right now, fat, sugar, salt, the richest thing you can find, was built for a world where those things were genuinely hard to get. Your body still runs that program. Still scanning, still treating a bag of chips like it's a rare find that needs to be consumed immediately in case there's nothing tomorrow. The world it was built for is gone. But if you dropped a 50,000-year-old human into your kitchen, they would think they had walked into a god's pantry. They wouldn't understand any of it. Cold food that lasts for weeks. Bread someone else baked. Fruit from places they'd never heard of. Food that nobody had to chase or crack open or wait 3 weeks for. They would stand there in complete silence. And then they would eat everything in sight. For 3 million years, every human who ever lived was hungry, cold, and working constantly just to find the next meal. You might be the first generation in human history that isn't, and most of us spend that gift opening the fridge, staring at it for 30 seconds, and deciding there's nothing good to eat. Your ancestors spent 3 million years fighting for what's in your fridge right now. The least you could do is finish the leftovers.